Hello everybody, welcome to another Transformers knockoff review. In today's video we're taking a look at the first offering, to my knowledge, from TOYSMAGE. This is their take on a Beast Wars masterpiece Megatron, based on the official figure, only with a slightly different re-deco. Very nice build quality and a very bland box. Megatron comes part transformed. He's in his kind of naked shell at the moment with all his parts in the packaging, and his feet are partly done kind of half robot, half dinosaur. But let's take a look at all of his accessories, put everything on, and then take a look at Megatron himself. Starting off with his accessories, we have the two alternative face sculpts. Pretty much what we would expect, although these do have very nice paint application on both. We get the stands, which do slot on. Incredibly sturdy, these stands. They slot in and they tab in nicely. Everything holds together really well. He's got his gun with his scope on there. Again, pretty much what we would expect. Nothing really untoward. We have the laser beam, which of course is designed to go in the mouth. We have an LED light in there as well. We have his tail. Gorgeous paint on this, vastly different to the original though. We'll cover that when we do a full comparison of the two. We get the likes of his toothbrush for brushing his dino teeth, and then we have the kibble sections, which are all designed to stay on him really. Yes, they can come off and he can look kind of like this exoskeleton version of himself, very kind of protoform. In my opinion, that's just something, I don't know, he just looks very naked without all of these sections on. So let's get them all on them and see how good he looks with everything fully kitted out. And just as a side note, I have seen some of these arrive without these sections attached as well. These do just pop up. If you have the arm upwards, you can slide these out of the joint, and then vice versa, putting it back on, slide that back down, like so. Starting off with these leg panels, you want to make sure that the guns are facing outwards, like so. This piece here is just going to slot in, like so. This is then going to come over, and you can see those are going to tab together. This then comes over, closes both of those off. We have a tab and a circle tab, and we have a tab and a circle tab, which allows this to push all the way in and push and locate. Do that for both sides. We can open up the tail like so and like so. This is on a double hinge, that's going to fold down and rock like so. We've got this pegging system on the inside of the arm there, and if we look here, that's going to correspond with this arm. Sliding nicely into the groove and then corrugating down and bending up like so. And to the back, make sure this hinge is outwards. That's going to slide down onto that void like so. You'll do that for both sides. And here we have him fully transformed up. A lot of similarities, but at the same time, a couple of little differences chucked in there nonetheless. Very solid figure. Not perfect. I did have a couple of little flaws of mine, which I will cover when we look in greater detail, but some nice little additional features, some nice tight strengthened joints. They've kind of removed a couple of little pieces that I really think they should have kept, and like the tab that joins the two sections of the backpack together. They've removed that. It's now two kind of open tabs, but all in all, it's a very good looking figure. Now, as you can see, he does have LED lights in his head. My battery are fine, but the switch itself is a little bit temperamental. It does time out, so as you don't leave the lights on. Installation is fairly straightforward. You slide the head off as if you were changing the face, and there is a screw that holds in the battery compartment. You just unscrew that. Same can be said with our dyno head here. The battery compartment is on the underside here. There's a screw here which we can unscrew. Put the batteries in. There's 2 times LR44s, which I believe are the same as AG13s, and there's an on-off switch just behind the section here on the head, on and off. Now we do get audio on here. We do actually get 2 different languages as well, which is a really welcome addition. Now we can get one set of languages by pressing the button. So that's all of the English audio. If we hold the button, so there we go. You finished? Thank you. So yeah, basically switch between the 2 languages by just holding, and it changes out to Mr. David K. This is a gorgeous looking figure, isn't he? Let's bring in Beast Wars Masterpiece Megatron and see how they fare. Now, comparing these 2 tones, the matte kind of base torso purple is a lot fairer on the official product. It definitely has kind of a more pearlescent kind of look to it. We have a very kind of protective paint on the thighs. Reminds me very much of the Infinite Transformations MP-43 Megatron. It's that sort of paint scheme. Details on both are remarkably good. They've kept a lot of the moulding. It's really still quite well defined. It's just the colours are different. We've got a much kind of darker, almost bottle green on the bootleg's thighs, but at the same time he has those extra voice chips, etc. as well. He's a really, really splendid rendition. Now let's just take a side-on view of both of these. Again, you can see that if we just move Megatron's sword out of the way there, like, oh, hello, hey. You can see that there is a difference in shade on those. These are actually looking a little bit more faded, I guess. It's not quite as dark, but then the blacks are much richer on this version as well. It's very, very how I would describe as kind of swings and roundabouts. Some things are slightly worse, some things are slightly better. For example, look at the top of my dino leg section. I do have a kind of scuff across the top there where it doesn't quite join together. His face didn't really want to come off as nicely as I'd like. I've got a small scratch on the side there as well, but for the price that we pay for the MP Megatron, this is great value for money. Absolutely superb. My Megatron has gone rather loose at the waist, whereas the newer version is really quite tight. A really nice abdominal crunch, the arch forwards and backwards. Everything is really nicely ratcheted out to the side as well. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous ratchets on those knees. Cannot fault the articulation on this guy at all. Everything is superbly done. We've got the shoulders. Oh, they come out individually as well. There's the upper bicep rotation in there. There's that double joint bend on that tail arm. Obviously we don't have to have the tail on. That again is optional. We do have the articulated hands, much like we have with the official piece, and that doesn't really want to stay in as well as it should, but absolutely adore the joints on this piece. He is a solid lump of Predacon, like his official counterpart. We can just slide the heads up and over and lock those, locking the new faceplate into position. Love that kind of up and down motion on the neck, allowing for really nice range there. And yes, we don't have the Predacon symbols on the forehead like we do with the official. Of course, he can hold his toothbrush, and he can also hold Ducky. I bought loads of these ducks. There was loads on Amazon. Giant wads of them. I think I got about 30. I've just got them scattered all over my display, just in little lines of ducks. So can't really complain. What a bargain. Of course, on top of all that standard articulation as well, we do get the ability to lift these shoulder tabs up, which in turn allow for this section here. And that allows the arm to come out on this butterfly hinge. Put this up. It's going to come up like so, allowing for the arm to come all the way up to this kind of crazy angle. And the joints can do quite a bit. They're kind of up, raise, and then drop. And we slide and lock those back in. So there's a lot of different ranges, lots of different options for this guy. You just need to decide what you want to do with him, and he can pretty much do it. I was worried because Dinobots, we had the straight up KO, and then we had the infinite transformation KO, which I was expecting to be amazing, and it was okay. That was it. It was just okay. So I was quite fearful of how this was going to turn out, and I am pleasantly surprised. I mean, the paint apps on the chest especially, really, really nice. I love the way the light hits these chest panel sections. Genuinely can breathe a sigh of relief. Now, as much as I absolutely adore Megatron's bot mode, which is how he's going to be displayed, we need to get him transformed up. So you want to rotate his hands, you want to push that in like so. It's going to straighten up. Love the upper bicep. We've got kind of a sideways pivot thing going on there. With the hand down, push this joint backwards. That's going to rock like so, and then these are going to come up, and these will just tab in. Megatron's dino head is going to come around, and if you look underneath here, there is this strange rotating hinge which actually collapses down. So this pulls down and down like so. Rock that up like that, yes. Make sure that the head is collapsed and tabbed in to the joint, and this joint here, making sure that it's square, will collapse down, and that comes up like this. Some people may choose to remove these sections for now. You can, but the idea is you can transform it with everything on, but each to their own. We can bring this section out. This is going to come up and extend, and the head section here is going to just push down into that void, making sure that it sits in there nicely. Now fully extend this waist panel like so. This is going to form part of that tail piece, and this is going to fully rotate around. I believe on the original there was some stress marks and damage around here. I can't see anything similar to that on this bootleg at the moment, so obviously I will keep you all in the loop if any of that does change. I kind of get it in this kind of weird predicament situation here, just so I can get everything out that's meant to come out. It gives us a lot more room to maneuver and twist and turn things around, because for the dyno mode, this section here is meant to come out, which can then come clear. This can then come out, and this is going to come up like so. That's going to come around. These are going to come back in, much like he was when we got him, and I've got this kind of bend on the legs as well. It's all starting to come together. Focusing on this joint here. This is going to come untabbed from the top of the leg. If you remember, there was those retaining tabs. This is going to rotate around, and what you need to do is you need to bend this knee in. The knee pad is going to come down, and if you look, there's this tab just on this leg. Line that up, and that's going to push in there, and that's forming the dino legs, giving it a kind of structure and definition. Make sure that this torso piece is rotated around so that this is all lined up, and then this top panel piece, give that a little push, and that's going to rotate, and that's going to come around to the top like this. Look at that. We can then push and collapse this torso piece in so that everything now starts to line up, and pushing this in, these are going to push, tab, and line up. He says with the torso. I'm going to move these legs out of the way, and then we're going to unfold all of these panels that form the side. Itself is certainly a little interesting game of origami. You got to bring the legs round so that they're up to the front section here, and then this is all going to unfold. Let's just move these out of the way for now so you can see what we're doing. This all comes out. Love the way this all folds together. A lot of thought has gone in to this, hasn't it? Obviously by the original design team, and then of course got to give credit where credit's due. The guys have done a pretty good job at bootlegging it as well. There we go, bring that up. This is all gonna square up, and there's so many tabs, so many tabs here. Let's just bring this up on this rocking hinge, which allows us to bring these legs back down. And as you can see here, we have tab upon tab. Everything's meant to tab in together. We have various different ports under the neck. We have ports either side. There's even points where these are meant, he says, once things are square, to tab in together.
This is going to tuck in on the other side, and on the other side, like so, like so.
And here we have him fully transformed up. Majority of his panels are tabbed in. You really have to make sure you clip in the purple clip underneath here first, so all of this lines up nicely. Once they're done, and he does hold together pretty well. Still the odd piece that doesn't quite line up and tab in, like the top of the tail section, but all in all it's pretty decent. Colour looks pretty vibrant. Again, just on the top here, it doesn't quite go as one would like, but still a very gorgeous rendition of Megatron. Now we do have the ability to move those eyes. They are loose, so we can move them wherever we see fit. There's a tongue in there as well, which I believe we should be able to get up like so. His bot mode can hold the toothbrush, so we can brush his dino mode head, but he looks ravenous, doesn't he?
Across the galaxy, it has come to this, Optimus Primal. Face to face, tooth to claw. Yes. Have you anything to say?
Oh, yeah, I need to get out more, don't I? Let's take a look, see how he looks with our regular MP Megatron. Now we have them both squaring off against each other. The Takara version still tabs in better, in my opinion, for his beast mode, but then again the bot mode, in my opinion, for the knockoff is better. Obviously we do have the difference in the eyes. The eyes on the bootleg translucent to go with the voice chip and the flashing lights. There you go. I mean, the colours are different, yes, but wrong? No, I wouldn't say so. You know, they still look very, very good indeed. Both of these are exceptionally good pieces in their own rights. I still think, it's hard to tell. I think the official may be slightly taller. I wonder if it's how I've got the legs set up. Maybe, but I'm definitely a fan of this mold nonetheless. Whether you get the bootleg or the official, I don't think you're really going to be disappointed. We still have visible screws, we still have lots and lots of panel folding. I mean, a ridiculous amount of panel folding, really. But the result is a very gorgeous looking Megatron in both cases. What are your thoughts? Leave a comment in the comments section below. I mean, we do have a bit of a gap on that nose bridge here, where it's slightly not joined properly in construction, I think. It does definitely seem very slight, but slightly narrower, maybe slightly smaller, but that may be due to the reverse engineering. But all in all, it's still a very good looking piece. We do have the display stand, but we do not get any base for these guys to stand on, unfortunately, but I do have multiple bases that I got with the various different versions of Dinobot, etc. So I've got loads that I can work with, but all in all, very impressed. Had my doubts, but I'm glad that it's worked out for the best. Still can't tab in the tail section at the top. That still won't tab in as I'd like, but I may have to make sure that this is dropped down fully. May have to just have a look at the arm. It's probably something I've done, because I've looked and it should on paper tab in nicely, but it's not. So whatever I've done something untoward. Thank you all for taking the time out of your busy lives to watch my content, and until next time, for myself and the TOYSMAGE KO MP Dinobot, thanks for watching. Goodbye.